يا حي يا قيوم.
Yo, peace and blessings. You already know what it is. Imam_OG. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and all that fly shit. Like, comment, subscribe. Alright, we're gonna check out something we got a real quick video, man, because you know a lot of niggas talking, you know, all the Dane Calloway indigenous people, blah, blah, blah. Niggas acting like this something new, like somebody just made this shit up, you know what I'm talking about? They talking about the Russians. The Russians got a plan to tell all you niggas you indigenous. The fuck up. Oh, excuse my language. I'm really just trying to convey a certain energy. But I digress.
World. All pirates, yes, they rabbi, sold I to the merchant ships. December 1609. Henry Hudson, a British sea captain in the employ of the Dutch East India Company, is searching for a trading route to the Orient. At the gateway to North America, he stumbles upon a great island in a mighty natural harbor. The settlement of New Amsterdam gives the Dutch a toehold in North America. But much of the colonists' labor came from imported Africans.
Hey man, I just want to pause this because I just want to take a minute to say something. Yeah, these videos is boring as hell, man. And you know how many thousands of hours of shit I be watching? How many thousands of hours of books I be reading? How many PDF downloads I got that I be reading and getting dizzy, staying up all night, reading and reading. So don't come on my channel acting like a nigga, you know what I'm saying, just some old scrub-ass nigga who ain't studied nothing, man. Say that for them followers, dog. Because one thing I can say, I just read in the book, I'm going to do a video about it. But the white folks, the Europeans, when they came, they was baffled. They like, who the king? Nigga, like, ain't no king, nigga. Well, how is everybody just living in harmony and living in peace and woo, wop, wop? Because that's our nature, my nigga. That's what y'all fail to understand, bruh. Everybody want to be the CEO. That ain't our nature, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Enslaved men and women cleared the land and laid the foundations of the urban community that would one day become New York City. Mark Mitchell, a collector from Fairfax, Virginia, has a 1667 document which he believes tells how...
Pause. 1667 document. Some European got it. This is what I'm telling you, dog. He's a collector. They got all our shit stole, stashed up, selling it to each other, trading it and shit at the family picnic, the office party. Man, do you see this? So, I guess the Russians did this too, huh, nigga?
New York City. Mark Mitchell, a collector from Fairfax, Virginia, has a 1667 document which he believes tells how some of those slaves fought for their freedom and won land some 200 years before the Civil War.
I remember going to the library when I was only 8 years old and getting hooked on his...
Pause, man. Just that statement in itself. So these niggas had land deeds 200 years before the Civil War. That destroys the whole narrative right there. Where did the African slave, when this nigga got off the boat and 200 years before the Civil War, and this nigga got a deed to property that some white boy got in his basement or wherever hanging on his wall? Man, I'm telling y'all, man, this shit ain't new, man. Stay woke. Pay attention, man. Pay attention.
And won land some 200 years before the Civil War.
I remember going to the library when I was only 8 years old and getting hooked on history. When I first saw the land deed, it just sent chills throughout my body. An early American document pertaining to a free person of color in what is now New York City was just extraordinary to me.
I'm Tukufu Zuberi. I'm meeting with Mark Mitchell to learn more about...
Cough break.
About his land deed.
Got it for you right here on the table.
Okay, what is it?
This is a land deed from 1667, signed in New York City, for a black man who owned land in Manhattan.
Now that's a...
Now I want y'all to pay attention to how they refer to him. Because right now he just said a black man. They're going to turn this nigga into a whole slave.
This is a land deed from 1667, signed in New York.
Now he got a land deed. But this nigga still got to be a slave, don't he?
City, for a black man who owned land in Manhattan.
Now that's impressive. This might be a truly historic document. How did an African win freedom and land so early in American history?
Boom. And you got the man. You got a nigga look just like you. Talking about how did the African... You know, nobody say shit about African. They just gonna make this nigga African. We gotta find this document. If you got a link to the document, please put it in the comments, man. I'd like to. I gotta see the document. I gotta read it, man. Somebody got it.
That's impressive. This might be a truly historic document. How did an African win freedom and land so early in American history? Where did you get this from?
I bought this from a dealer in New York.
I've seen some of these, but nothing as early as 1667. What can I find out for you?
Well, I'd like to know precisely where this land was located. And I'd like to know what happened to it. And also a bit about the status of the black community.
He want to know where this land located, what happened to him. He like, shit. Fuck you talking about, nigga? I got the deed. Yeah. That way, nigga. Paperwork way.
Community in early New Amsterdam and New York.
Is there anything you could tell me that might aid in my investigation?
Oh, frankly, I'm just interested in anything you can find out about this.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So I'm going to go do what I can do.
Let's bring it back.
Some of these, but nothing as early as 1667. What can I find out for you?
Well, I'd like to know precisely where this land was located. And I'd like to know what happened to it. And also a bit about the status of the black community in early New Amsterdam and New York.
Is there anything...
He want to know about the status of the black community. The status, nigga. He want to know what's your status. Who claiming shit? Who know they got rights to this shit? Yeah. What's your status, nigga?
You could tell me that might aid in my investigation?
Oh, frankly, I'm just interested in anything you can find out about this.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So I'm going to go do what I can do and get back to you as soon as I can.
All right. Thanks so much.
Richard's document was written in 1667 and signed by the British governor of New York. It says that if...
Signed by who? Signed by who?
So much.
Richard's document was written in 1667 and signed by the British governor of New York. It says that a freed African named Group Manuel had been given land by the Dutch in 1644, some 23 years earlier.
So 1644, freed African was given land from the Dutch. Okay, we watching, we hawking.
Document transfers the property to Manuel's widow, Christina, and it gives her full legal right to transfer the property to her children forever. The text establishes an African as a landowner in the 17th century. It could be historically priceless, but is it real?
But is it real? Is it real? How long should I pause the video? I could fast forward it. Or you could take this time to go find the video yourself. What you gonna do?
I'm headed to Nyack, New York to get the opinion of Wyatt Day, an appraiser who specializes in African American documents. What I have here is a document that I think could be invaluable historically. The first thing that catches Wyatt's eye is the brownish-looking writing, which he says has been done in iron gall ink. Now, what is iron gall ink?
Well, actually, it tends to go into this nice, deep sepia color.
I see. Wyatt explains that iron gall was the most commonly used ink before the 19th century, so the ink is from the right period.
We're going to look at the paper.
Right.
And that's going to be pretty much the deciding factor here. If you notice,
This European so scared, he talking about, well, it's the right paper. No, not even, he said it's the right ink, but let's make sure it's the right paper. So a nigga got some ink from the 1700s and wrote on some paper from the 1800s? Did he? Maybe he did.
The ink is from the right period.
we're going to look at the paper.
Right.
And that's going to be pretty much the deciding factor here. If you notice, this paper is handmade paper, 17th century paper. And in here a distinct, what we call chain line. This is what you see, it's from the hand.
It's going down like this.
Exactly. The paper was handmade, and with a roller would actually produce that effect. And also a thing here that's the clincher. And here where my thumb is, you see that's faint, but it's there. That's a watermark. Can you see?
I see it.
My thumb.
Hold on.
Right there, yes, I do.
That is definitely tells us that this is 17th century paper.
Now, is this an authentic document?
It is the real deal. It's definitely, it's dated 1667. It's 17th century. Everything about it is right. The sealing wax, this seal, which is what a notary would put on today, is the same sort of thing. It's a notarized, it's a seal that lends the authenticity of this as a legal document in the time when it was written. This is a fabulous document.
The document is real. More than 350 some years ago, at the very dawn of European colonization of the Americas, a black man was granted his freedom and land for his family. How was this possible? I'm starting my investigation at the New York Public Library, where they have some of the best reference material.
Hey, they sent that boy researching. Well, you better go find out how the fuck this shit slipped out. Well, you better go figure out something. You better go paint a picture for these niggas. Boy, word get out that these niggas was owning property 200 years before the Civil War, that they indigenous, and they own all the land in the fucking continent of North America, the United States, Canada. Huh? Yeah, you better hurry up. Hey, man, send them niggas to Africa. Tell them go back to Africa. Tell them they all from Africa. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell them they from Africa. Send all they ass to Africa. Yeah, good luck.
On New York's early colonial history. Unlike the later cotton and tobacco plantations of the South, the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam did not require such large numbers of slaves or extreme manual labor to produce profit. Dutch slavery was similar to the treatment of indentured servants, and they had rights, but it was still bondage. I'm getting a sense of what Groot's life might...
It was still bondage. Don't you niggas start thinking you wasn't slaves. Yeah, nigga, it's bondage when you got to get up at work and go to work in the morning, you know what I'm talking about? And wake your ass up at 6 a.m. when you don't want to. It's still bondage. It's about that much slavery, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? They want you to think everybody will slap you all at the top of your motherfucking head, kick it dirt in your face. That wasn't the case, my nigga. Not for everybody, man. And we the survivors. You know what I'm talking about? We they descendants. So you gonna let some motherfucker just walk up, kick dirt in your face? Huh? Me neither.
It's been like, but I still don't know why he was given land or freedom. Mark wanted to find Groot and Christina's property. It's a long shot, but Stokes' iconography of Manhattan Island traces the physical development of the colony and lists the earliest owners of land in New York. Groot Manuel, here it is. I found it. It was once farmland, but some of the street names and numbers remain the same. And I'm able to find the former location of Groot's land. 350 years can bring a lot of change. The heart of Greenwich Village. It's hard to believe that this was once farmland owned by free Africans. But the question remains, how did Groot Manuel get his freedom, and why was he given this land? I'm heading to the New York State Library.
I bet y'all wonder what happened, don't y'all? Damn, what happened to his land? Who got his land? Let's see if they tell us.
And archives in Albany, where some of the earliest documents from the colonial period are stored. Charles Gerhing is director of the New Netherland Project. He discovers that the first mention of Group Manuel in the historic record appears 3 years before he is freed and given land. I'm shocked by what he tells me.
The earliest document that we have is 1641, and it refers to a murder trial. Very interesting stuff. Yeah.
So our guy was involved in a murder.
That's right. And
now, what's the story?
Well, he and 8 other black slaves are accused of murdering one of their compatriots.
There you have it. Hit my boy with the murder case. He had that Manhattan real estate. Him and 8 other niggas killed one nigga. He didn't want to in the court.
A man by the name, or a slave by the name of Jan Primero, in the woods near their house. They will not tell who actually dealt the final blow.
I see.
So you got 8 niggas that killed one nigga in the woods in another nigga house and some 1800 ass shit. And who told? Cause he's saying these niggas won't even tell who dealt the final blow. So who told? How they end up there? Man, y'all gotta start using y'all noodle, dog. How do you niggas catch a murder case? You know, the same way niggas catch a murder case now. Cause they fucking felt like it. Straight up.
A man by the name, or a slave by the name of Jan Primero, in the woods near their house. They will not tell who actually dealt the final blow.
I see.
Who killed him. So they are about, rather than hang all of them, they have them draw lots. And
luckily, they ain't gonna tell us shit else. So I'll try to find part 2, man. You already know what it is. The black man who owned real estate in Manhattan in the 17th century. That don't add up to the narrative they taught me in school. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay hawking, man. Right on to the real, dead to the fake. Follow me. If you want to chop it up, man, comment. I comment back, or hit me up on Twitter, imam_OG. Peace and blessings.
All right, does anybody know what the name of this place is?
That's Africa. I know that.
That's right, that's Africa. But did you know that Africa is the place where the body of the first man was found? My daddy says that makes it the place where all people originated from. That means everybody's really from Africa. Everybody. All y'all. Everybody.
I ain't from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia.
Like, now you're from Africa.